Hey friend, it's Brandon Gustafson. Welcome to Assisted Living Investing. Excited to have you here on the channel with me today. In today's video, we're going to be talking about, do you need an RN for your assisted living business? If you're interested in learning more about that, stick around for today's video. Hey friend, it's Brandon Gustafson. I own and operate 2 assisted living facilities, and I created this channel to help people like you learn the ins and outs of investing in assisted living. Welcome to Assisted Living Investing. Before we get started with the topic today, which is, do you need an RN to start your assisted living business? I want to remind you to get over to the website, assistedlivinginvesting.net. I have a free underwriting calculator there. You can get access to that, and it's going to help you out through your investment journey. So make sure you get over to that. A bunch of other free resources and other goodies on the website as well. Now let's get into the topic for today's video. Do you need an RN to start your assisted living business? It's a great question, something that I see people talking. I actually talk to a lot of people that say, hey, I'm a nurse. I would love to start my own assisted living business. What's the process looking like? And I think a lot of that comes because you that are watching this, that are nurses, you think to yourself, I've been in these facilities, I've been in these houses for a long time. I see the work that they do, and I could do better than any of them. And I think you're right. I really do. I think you're probably the best people to work and run these types of facilities. I think you're great at it. You understand the industry, you understand the people and their needs. And I think you are uniquely positioned to be great at running this type of a business. That said, you don't have to be a nurse to start this business at all. I'm not a nurse. I worked as a CNA, a certified nurse's assistant, when I was in high school 20 years ago. But that's my experience as far as nursing is concerned. I have a lot of background in healthcare, but not necessarily with nursing. But do you need to have an RN at your assisted living facility? Now, the answer to that, especially if you're doing a residential type of a facility, a residential home, and as assisted living, or you're doing a care home, you don't need to have a full-time RN there. You will need to have access to an RN. You need to have somebody that can come in and do resident assessments and make sure the residents are healthy, that you're meeting their level of care, that when you're bringing new residents in, they're doing an assessment to make sure that they're a good fit and that you can serve them and hit that level of care. So you do need access to a nurse for that. You also need a nurse that is willing to delegate for MedPass. So you're going to need to have all of your caregivers, all of those other people at your house that are giving medications to your residents. They need to get delegated by a nurse, by an RN. That nurse will go through a process. It's set out by the state on how you go through that delegation. Oftentimes they have to go through a course to get med certified to be able to pass those medications. And once they do that, they show that they're able to do it, and the nurse has trust in that caregiver to be able to do it. The nurse will delegate the ability to pass medications. The nurse, their license is over that passing of medication. So they want to make sure that they are comfortable with it, that they are comfortable with the people that are passing the medication, and that if any issues do come up, that those are reported through the administrator up to the nurse so that they can be addressed appropriately. So you do need to have access to a nurse. You don't have to have a full-time nurse, especially in these smaller types of homes, care homes, residential assisted living homes, those types of things. You don't necessarily need a full-time RN. For our house, for both of our houses, we partnered with nurses, and they come in, and on a regular basis, they're usually there for 5 to 10 hours a week, 1 to 2 days a week, and they come in and they do resident assessments. They're making sure that everything's good with the residents, doing a little bit of double check on the staff, making sure that they're good, coordinating with our administrator at the facility, and also helping the administrator do new admissions for the residents in the home. Even larger facilities. I have a buddy in Idaho who was running a larger facility, 30 plus beds, and he just had a part-time nurse that was helping out. And she was probably putting in about 20 hours a week there. And so you don't need that full-time person. In assisted living, you just don't need it. When you get into nursing home, you do. And I'll link up a video up above about a comparison that I did between assisted living and nursing homes to kind of give you a feel for what is the difference between those two and why does it matter so much that you have an RN in the senior living industry. There is a need for it, absolutely. In assisted living, it's much more minimal than you would see somewhere like a nursing home. So make sure you watch that video to give you some guidance. So the question of, do you need to have a nurse in there full time? The answer is no, absolutely not. As I just explained, you don't need to have a full-time nurse there, being there part-time, and that's going to help you save quite a bit of money as well. Our nurse is probably our highest paid hourly employee, the way that we have it structured, which is appropriate. They have that level of experience and certification and knowledge, so we should be paying them more, but I don't want to be paying them a full-time salary because I don't need them to be in the house. Now, if you are a nurse and you're watching this and you want to start a house, then awesome. I think it's great. You might be able to be the administrator, or you could just pay yourself a small hourly wage for the time that you're in the house, and you can still work on a few other ones. So there's a lot of ways, unique ways that you can do this in a business and get paid and make some extra money out of it. And so as a nurse, if you're watching this, I think you've got a great opportunity in front of you that you should look into a little bit more as well. So the next question is, how do you find that RN? How do you find that nurse to come in and work in your facility? Now, if you're like me and you are remote and you're 5 hours away from your facility and your administrator is doing all of the things, I don't have the relationships there to work with a nurse. I don't know the people there to help build that relationship so that we can get the right nurse in place. So I have to lean on other people. So who are the people that I lean on? Number one is administrators. So your administrator that's in the facility, they've likely been in the industry and in the location, the geographic location, for quite a while. They probably know some people. That is a great resource for you to try to find somebody. Talk to your administrator and say, what nurses do you know that might be a good fit? And then have them bring in the administrator. We've done this several times in the past. The next one would be other facility owners or other operators or administrators at other facilities. This is how we found our current nurse in our Idaho facility. My buddy, who I mentioned earlier in the story, his nurse, she had some capacity to bring on another small facility like ours. So we had a conversation there. She went and met us. We drove up there to go meet our new administrator. But while we were there, we were able to meet the new nurse as well. She was there getting to know the administrator and make sure they were going to fit together well. And that came through a referral from another facility administrator. And we were able to build a really good relationship with that nurse, which has been great. Another spot would be doctors. So all of your residents are going to have primary care physicians that they work with, PCPs, and they're going to be going to them. And if you are taking your residents to those hospital visits, or if you ever have a doctor come and do kind of a house call to work with your residents for a particular issue, having conversations with those doctors is another great way, because they're going to know people. If they're working in this area where they're serving your residents, they're probably working with other assisted living facilities. They're working with a population similar to what you're working with, whether it's geriatric or mental health or something else. And they're probably going to be able to give you a few referral sources on where you could go and find a nurse. Another great way is just finding them on Facebook or Googling them. Searching for them on the internet, you're going to be able to find people that way as well. I would just make sure that you're vetting people. Referrals are always preferred, and it's going to make you feel a lot more comfortable with the people that you're bringing in to be in your home. So referrals are great, but always do your due diligence. Make sure that you work well with that person before you move forward with any other kind of a relationship with them. It's going to save you time, heartache, and just make your life a whole lot easier if you're able to do that. So to recap what we've been talking about today, we've been talking about, do you need an RN to start your assisted living facility, your assisted living business? You're going to need access to one, absolutely. So you want to be able to do that. I also talked to you a little bit about how to find those nurses and what those nurses are doing at your facility and what you kind of could expect. If you found this to be useful and helpful, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell as well so you get notified every time we go live or put out some more of this content. What I'm doing here is trying to build everything so that you can start your own assisted living business. Does residential assisted living sound interesting to you, but you don't know how to get started? At Assisted Living Investing, we are here to help you through the process, start to finish. I want to thank you for watching. Reminder to get over to the website, assistedlivinginvesting.net. Have our free underwriting calculator there. You can scroll down and get our accelerator course as well. And that will help you along your journey. It gets you on a 12-week path to ownership and starting your own assisted living business. Excited to share all of these things with you. Thanks for watching and have a great day.